Hello everybody, and welcome to another reaction video. And today we're going to react to Stranger Things by Periphery. I've never heard of Periphery before, so it should be quite interesting to see. I did a bit of research on the band because, like I said, never heard of them before, and I found out that Periphery are an American prog metal band formed in Washington DC in 2005, so they're fairly recent but not like really new. Their style has been described as progressive metal, gent, and progressive metalcore. Now, I have no idea what gent was. It's D-J-E-N-T. No idea what it was. So I had a quick look, and apparently gent is a subgenre of prog metal named for the onomatopoeia of the distinctive high-gain, distorted, palm-muted, low-pitched guitar sound first employed by Meshuggah, a band that I am familiar with. And they didn't release their first debut album until 2010, so it took them 5 years to release their first album, which is quite interesting. Now, right, but before we get on with this, I'm just going to say I'm going to be away for this entire week, so I'm uploading a week's worth of videos beforehand. They will be released one a day, as is my norm. But if anybody leaves like comments or requests for tracks, if I don't get back to you, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not going to be able to. I just haven't got access to my account because I'm helping a friend move house, and I'm going to be in a different city, and obviously with them moving house, they're not going to have internet for me to have access to my comments. But once I get back, I will be sure to go through all of the comments, requests and replies that come through. But anyway, now that we've got that over and done with, shall we just get straight into the song? So yeah, Stranger Things by Periphery. It's quite a long track as well, 7 minutes 36. Let's get on with it. Well, it's actually really quite heavy. I will say that the vocals aren't what I was expecting. and from what I've heard, I wouldn't really much associate this with prog at all. But again, this could just be this one specific song. But you can definitely hear the influence of the what they call gent. You know, the really quite hearty chugging guitars in the background. I'm not entirely sure what the song seems to be about, but there's a couple of lines here. Heavens see that this man once had value among all the golden but eccentric revisions in life brought on decay. Now that might be suggesting that from the view of like the angels, God, whoever, that this guy has, you know, he's done great things with his life. You know, he's been kind to people, he's been generous, he's helped people that needed help, but certain things in his life have sort of sent him in a downward spiral, and maybe his life isn't as great as it should be given all the good he's done. It's a theory. I could be wrong. From what I'm understanding, this album Juggernaut Omega, I believe it's a concept album where every track tells part of a story, so I could just be coming in halfway through a story, so I might not know the entire plot or reasoning behind the rest of the song. This is actually proving to be quite a hard track to I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's quite a hard track to not make sense of, but you know, to try and discern any meaning behind it. I mean, there's another couple of lines here. Set the sail blowing, search for peace, a loose feeling consuming me. Now, would that be suggest that you know, given the way his life seems to be, from what I'm getting from it, seems to be taking a downward spiral, is he like trying to search for ways to make his life better? You know, he's seeking to improve his situation, but everywhere he turns, it's just falling apart no matter how hard he tries. Again, I could be completely wrong with this, but it's quite an interesting song. Carry on. Okay, just at the beginning of that second part there was that sort of instrumental interlude where what could be perceived as the progressive style of their music sort of fell in. And carrying on from what I was saying before, it's like this guy, you know, he's done lots of good in his life, but, you know, bad things have happened and his life's taken a downward spiral. It seems to be illustrating here a sort of descent into hell, you know, whilst he's done all these good things in his life that, you know, should essentially get him into heaven. All of the bad things that have happened since then have sort of overridden that, and he's now essentially fallen. There's the line here: the torture realm has released my name. I can feel my body parting with this world. Rebirth is starting from within. I'm born someplace beyond your time. Now I can only imagine that the torture realm is a reference to hell, and he can feel his body parting this world. So he's like, hell has gone, right, your time's over, released his name, so it's like, you're no longer attached to this, your soul is mine. And rebirth starting from within, I'm born someplace beyond your time. I can only expect that means, you know, like, he's being reborn in hell, you know, like starting his afterlife in a place where he really shouldn't be, because, you know, he's done all these great things. Why should a small evil outweigh all the great? Again, this is just pure guesswork on my part. I could be hideously wrong, but I'm actually quite liking this song so far. I like the way that it's actually telling a story, and I'd like to hear the whole album, because if it is a concept album, as I said before, I'm coming in part way through a story, and so I'm not seeing the whole picture. Yeah, I'm quite liking it. Let's carry on. Well, there we go. Stranger Things by Periphery. In the closing lines of that track, he says, "Floating up above the Hadean seal, sounds of ambient voices will lead me from nowhere. This skeletal mask brings a demon of the day." Now, I can only assume that the Hadean seal is possibly maybe like a reference to the gates of hell, maybe. I mean, the first line of the song is "wandering below the Hadean seal." Where here it sounds like he's possibly been granted a stay of execution, as it were, from hell. So floating up above the Hadean seal, so he's being released from hell. The sounds of ambient voices will lead me from nowhere. So it's possibly like, it could mean like the voices of angels are guiding him up towards heaven where he should be. And this skeletal mask brings a demon of the day. Could possibly suggest that, he's dead, even though he's getting into heaven or what have you. He's still reminded of all the bad things that have happened, all the bad things that he may have done in life. I could be wrong, but it's an interesting track. I will have to check out the album in its entirety. Yeah, I quite like that. I really wasn't expecting the clean vocals to sound like that, because that sounds more like the okay, I can't even think of an example. It's not the sort of vocal I would associate with prog. When I think of prog, I think of bands like Opeth or Dream Theater. Two very different styles of prog, but still. So this is a further venture into that. Very good, and there was the mixture of different vocal styles in there, which again is something that I do like. Overall, that was actually a very good song. I did really enjoy that, and a shout out to Cloud Above, who suggested that for me. Thank you very much. But we'll leave that as it is. As I said earlier, I am going to be out of town for a week or so, but if you want to suggest a track, just leave a comment in the section below, or message me on Instagram, and I will certainly look at them and add them to my ever expanding list of tracks that you've suggested for me. Yeah, we'll leave that as it is. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.